Hello, good evening. Welcome to Prime Business with me, Pius Kojo Baka. To our very first story, government has finally reached a deal with commercial banks on restructuring the local dollar bonds as well as cocoa bills. George Biafe has the rest of the story.
Based on this deal that government has reached with the commercial banks and other interested parties that are holding these papers, government has from today officially launched its debt restructuring for the local dollar bond as well as the cocoa bills. The offer, which opens today, is expected to be closed on August 4, 2023 for the dollar bonds. Government is hoping to restructure $809 million for the dollar papers. It is hoping to carry out the necessary settlement of these bonds in two tranches, one in 2027 and the other 50% in 2028. On the cocoa bills, government is targeting to restructure almost 8 billion Ghana cedis. The offer would end on July 31. According to government, the successful completion of this program will allow the country to actually restore sound public financial management and sustainable debt levels. It also helped to unlock support from the international community and allow Ghana to achieve its debt targets.
Meanwhile, banking and finance lecturer at the University of Ghana Business School, Dr. Benjamin Amoah, has advised bondholders to carefully consider all factors to guide them in decision-making on whether to exchange them for new ones or hold on to their bonds.
It goes to make the case that the country still needs a lot more fiscal space. So a lot more of the indebtedness of government must be restructured. For the cocoa bond, we had information that they were not meant for individuals. They were meant for institutions. Some way, somehow, the bank sold it to individuals. So it is up to the individuals to take a decision as to whether they may want to exchange them for the new ones or hold on to get what they were promised. The same applies to
We sincerely apologize for that poor quality sound there. Now, Standard Chartered Bank has reached an agreement to sell its subsidiaries in 5 sub-Saharan African countries to Nigeria's Access Bank, putting into motion a plan announced last year to divest those businesses. Standard Chartered will sell its shareholding in its subsidiaries in Angola, Cameroon, Gambia, and Sierra Leone to Access Bank. It will also sell its consumer, private, and business banking business in Tanzania to Access Bank, a subsidiary of Access Holdings. Standard Chartered said in April last year that it would exit 7 countries in Africa and the Middle East as it seeks to improve profits by focusing on faster-growing markets in the region. And banking and finance lecturer at the University of Ghana Business School, Dr. Benjamin Amoah, is calling for the establishment or strengthening of local firms to take up the operations of multinationals when they fold up. Responding to Standard Chartered Access Bank buyout, Mr. Amoah emphasized the need to build indigenous firms to prevent the sale of multinationals to other multinationals in Africa.
When these banks come out with the information that they are leaving or they are relocating, it paints a certain picture of the local economy that they are exiting, because capital will go to places that the returns are quite good. And so if these global giants are relocated, it means that the host countries that they are in currently is not posting or promising them enough returns. Hence, the need for their capital to relocate to other regions where the potential to rake in more by way of profit is higher than where they are currently located. So in the interim, that is how it will look like. Again, we talk about the issue of job losses, etc. But you have to think about it from the owner of the capital's perspective. If the owner of the business decide that this particular location is not good for my brand and for my bottom line, what can you do? There's very little that you can do. What we should rather be thinking about in terms of the yes, it is good for us, the no, it is good for us, that when they are exiting, have we built enough indigenous and domestic firms or institutions that can assume or acquire the ownership stake in these businesses so that when they are exiting, they don't sell off to other foreign multinationals, but rather we have local or indigenous firms that can acquire their interest. That is what we should be looking at. We should be looking at, so that in the end, we succeed in buying their brands and using their brands to complement what we have in our economy. So we should be looking at it as an opportunity, and the managers of the economy should build the domestic firms so we can acquire the stakes. If not, when they are exiting, they will exit by selling to other foreign multinationals, and we end up not benefiting from the assets that these institutions should have acquired when they are leaving.
Meanwhile, Standard Chartered Bank in a statement maintained that it is committed to doing business here in Ghana despite decision to sell some of its subsidiaries in some parts of Africa. Well, this was captured in a statement issued by the bank a while ago. Meantime, in the banking sector, the Bank of Ghana is set to continue with its dollar support program for fuel imports until a new deal is finalized for implementation. This is one of the agreements that the central bank has reached with the bulk distributors of petroleum products on the future of the program. It follows concern that the central bank will soon halt support for import as part of the IMF program conditionalities. Abbas Satunsi is the head of economic regulation at the National Petroleum Authority.
And the central bank has made it very clear that the IMF conditionalities does not really say that stop the auction for the BDCs. Now, the reason why the BDC
BOGs agree that they are still going to roll ahead.
The BDC auction that started last year, April till date, has not been able to meet 100% of the BDC's demand. I think they met 37% of their demand since they started. The last auction they did, they met 25% of their demand. So we are looking at how can we look the other forex demand they have, how can we cover that? So the gold purchase program, which has shown that it has advantages, is what's going to happen now. The BDCs have been asked to come back with a proposal on how they are going to finance this gold purchase, because you need to buy the gold before you can liquidate it and give them their dollars. So now there's an agreement and there's a clarity that this is the way to go. And that's how the BOG has given the calendar for the next auction. They are not going to stop the auction now, because if we allow the CD, the auctions have helped to a large extent to stabilize the CD. Because the uncertainty
and
that
they just announced even the calendar, it brought some
certainty. Exactly. So the BOG is aware of this and therefore will not just rush to take actions that will cause our CD to start depreciating again and lead our prices to start rising again. So the BOG has made it very clear that they are in tune with bringing the BDCs under the gold purchase program. And the BDCs are happy about that. The gold G4O so I think we keep saying G4O program, but it's not. The whole idea is to be able to buy gold to finance our oil imports. That's the objective. Not that boss may buy it and give it to the BDCs, but even if we can get the BDCs, like I said, to also bring their CDs, it's used to purchase gold, and then it can finance their import. The boss currently has been importing products and supplying the market, so it's doing part of the market. We still have the part that the BDCs are doing. I think it's also very important to clarify that even before G4O, Boss was bringing in products and selling to some BDCs. Not all BDCs import products on their own. So the Gold for Oil program only gave them that advantage of they getting their forex funding through the gold purchase program which the BOG has. So I think with time you would see that the BDCs may confirm to you themselves that the discussion that we've had with Bank of Ghana were very positive and they're happy about it, that they are going to go.
So the assurance from BAG is that they're not going to take any abrupt decisions that would disrupt the market.
Not at all.
Still would intervene to meet their FX need, at least for a while, before we look at alternatives that can stabilize the price.
The idea is that once the gold for oil, all the BDCs are brought under the gold purchase program, then the auctions can stop. I think the concern is having different auctions, like multiple auctions by the central bank. That's what IMF is against. But it's not against the central bank taking measures to ensure that the inflation is addressed. And like I said, petroleum products is one of the key factors that leads to inflation in this country. And the BOG has made that clear. So as long as fuel price contribute to that, they are willing to support the import of petroleum products so that there is some certainty to the price of petroleum products.
Abbas Tasunti in that interaction with George Yafe on PM Express Business Edition there. Now, the World Bank is impressed with the digital innovations ongoing at the Accra Digital Center and has indicated its readiness to support such employment creation ventures. This is an assurance coming from the World Bank President, Anna Bejedi, who is in Ghana. According to her, the Bretton Woods institution is making efforts to scale up entrepreneurs through technology. She was speaking to journalists after inspecting some initiatives at the Accra Digital Center as part of a working visit to Ghana.
And a couple of important words there is really scale up. And what I like about projects like this is that they test out new things. So what we've seen today visiting here is that we've seen people being trained. We've seen people being in the process of producing new products that maybe we don't even know about yet. And we've seen people network. And what I like about this is that it brings a lot of new ideas, which is exactly what Ghana needs at this point in time, because there's a young, dynamic population that is increasingly reaching higher education attainments. And what we now need to pivot from is, in addition to great education, is skills, and skills for the future that the job market needs and will need. So the World Bank is very committed to the jobs agenda, which is creating good and interesting jobs for all the people in the country, and particularly the youth. So this is great, and this is very, very interesting. So we're here to stay, to continue to invest in these types of interventions. Getting started, but we had a very, very good morning visit and discussion with the authorities broadly on the economic outlook of the country. Like many countries around the world, Ghana also is having difficult times economically. But we are working closely to really help move on many important areas to be able to improve the economy, particularly bring down the cost of living, inflation, which is hurting many people around the world, but also continuously improve the business environment, more private sector, more jobs.
In a bid to promote financial literacy among the youth in the country, the Ghana Stock Exchange, together with the Central Securities Depository, has partnered the Young Investors Network to launch the Youth Investment Education Programs to deepen the financial knowledge of young people while investing in the financial markets. Speaking at the launch of the program, Head of Marketing at the Ghana Stock Exchange, Jerry Dankwa, said the program aims at creating awareness about capital market and also giving career guidance to students. Here is more from the launch. The Youth Investment Education Program aims to promote interest in savings and investment amongst the youth, thus boosting financial literacy. Speaking at the launch of the Youth Investment Education Programs, Head of Marketing at the Ghana Stock Exchange, Jerry Dankwa, said they are targeting about 10,000 students across the country to increase their knowledge of savings and investment, as well as activities on the capital market.
This year, we look forward to a very exciting program. And the whole idea and the ultimate aim of this financial literacy program, being organized by the Ghana Stock Exchange, CSD and Young Investors Network, is to ensure that every Ghanaian becomes financially literate. Until every Ghanaian becomes financially literate, we will not stop this program. Because we believe that when people become financially literate, they will make informed decisions and they will make sure they make the right decisions with regards to their money.
CEO of Central Securities Depository, Michael Mensah, says the investment education program will afford students the opportunity to deepen their skills in financial markets.
Collaborating with the Young Investors Network is one of the ways that the CSE can drive its objective of deepening knowledge of the financial markets of Ghana and investments opportunities available. Then thirdly, programs focused on the deepening knowledge of young people in the financial markets, and for that matter, encouraging them to invest in financial assets constitutes an important element in achieving economic growth and development.
On his part, Executive Director of Young Investor Network, Fibuzi Ache, expressed his outfit's commitment to educate the youth on financial literacy and business skills with investment programs designed to support a favorable business climate.
Young Investors Network is there to bridge that gap. We give, through our workshops, through our training sessions, we give the students the opportunity, we give them the necessary training to relate. So basically, we want to impact knowledge on students. We want to give them that experience so that they can also make some decisions, financial decisions in their daily lives.
The Youth Investment Education Program is expected to prepare the youth to become socially and financially competent adults to contribute to the socio-economic development of the country. To some other news, Promasidor Ghana has announced the introduction of all its new Cowbell Premium and Cowbell Vita Rich to beverages market. According to the managing director of the company, Festus Tete, this is to meet the evolving consumer needs in the dairy category and offer nutritive value to the public. He spoke to Joy Business at the outdoor of the new products in Accra.
The 2 instant filled milk powders are enriched with the right proportion of nutrients in addition to a great taste of creamy goodness. Festus Tete said his outfit will continue to prioritize its consumer preferences.
Well, today's event is purely a renovation of our flagship brand, Cowbell, to address consumer needs in our current context of our economic situation, where we need to ensure that for the mass consumers that we have catered for all those 24 years, we give them offerings that will meet their current economic circumstances. That's the key essence of today, that our brand Cowbell is responsive to consumer needs and consumer sensitivities in times like this. As a brand, the essence of Cowbell is to deliver value to the consumer. We know that the premium Cowbell will not meet everybody's pockets. So we had to deliver affordable nutrition through Vita Rich to the mass public to ensure that quality food is a basic human right.
Corporate communication and public relations lead at Promasidor Ghana, Gideon Kodo, said the company will embark on some community engagement soon.
So as part of the launch, we intend embarking on some community support initiatives, which is going to run across the length and breadth of the country. We've already started the borehole project, which is still under the Cowbell brand. We also have nutrition assessment program, which is focused on the area of pediatric nutrition. Of course, you see, key in our messaging is the consumption of protein that we really want to, re-emphasize and also make sure that the children of Ghana are well nourished, So a lot of partners that we are looking at, we've already started a conversation with the Otunfo Certitude II Foundation. We're looking at literacy programs too as well.
The Cowbell Premium is a protein-rich powdered milk which contains essential nutrients for the growth and nourishment of the body. The product comes in captivating gold-themed packaging, with current stock-keeping units being 26 grams, 360 grams, sachet, and 400 tin pack size. The Cowbell Vita Rich, with its taste of creamy goodness, has 4 different stock-keeping units, which include 14 grams, 26 grams, 400 grams sachet, and the 400 tin pack size.
A reminder, you're still watching Prime Business with me, Pius Kojo Baka. Now, the global shipping industry accounts for 3% of worldwide greenhouse gas emissions. However, as many economies bounce back post-COVID-19 pandemic, the emission of pollutants are expected to rise to 17% by 2050. In view of this, Ghanaian port authorities have been urged to explore ways of cutting down on significant pollution at its harbors and airport as part of the global push to tackle climate change. Blessed Suga visited the port of Auckland in the United States of America, where authorities aim at zero emissions in the coming years.
Ship cruise from afar, but activities of thousands of these machines around the world account for 3% of global gas emissions. And as trading increases post the COVID-19 pandemic, that figure is certainly set to see a significant rise to about 17% by 2050. Alarmed at the likely impact of these toxic gases on global warming, port authorities at Oakland in California in the United States of America say they are going green. The Bay Area, which has unique jurisdiction over air and seaports in San Francisco, would usually see over 2 million cargoes cleared from its seaports in a year with heavy dependence on fossil fuel. But that may no longer be the case. Here at the Port of Oakland, we meet Executive Director Danny Wan as he explains how the transformation is taking place.
We're happy to say that the Port of Oakland is unique among ports because we are the export port. So that's something that's unique about the Port of Oakland. We are very excited, and there's a brochure in your package about the fact that we are on the forefront of converting ports into zero emissions, using green technology and green energy instead of petrol.
Port authorities indicate to Joy News that this forms part of the global push aimed at tackling climate change. Globally, shipping accounts for 3% of greenhouse gas emissions, but as trade expands around the world, that figure is set to increase by 17% by the year 2050. As part of its effort to go green, the Port of Oakland, California, in the United States of America, says it is setting a target of zero gas emissions in the coming years. So how can developing countries such as Ghana convert to green energy?
So I think for the developing countries, it's a very exciting time to get involved in that dialogue, and to both, because right now people are looking for places that are willing to adopt these technologies. And like I said, many times with subsidies involved. So I think this is the time for a lot of developing countries to get involved in a dialogue and actually figure out where their place is in that. Yeah, of course, COVID had an effect on everybody. I think financing is going to be a challenge for everybody. But like I said, I think a lot of the governments, especially I'll just speak for the United States, is willing to invest in that, and that technology can be transferable.
Leza Sugan's report for Joy News, San Francisco, California.
Back in Ghana, Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry Michael Otribefi says the ministry through Rural Enterprises Program is focused on reducing the burden of farmers and traders through government initiatives. Speaking at the commissioning of the One District, One Factory rice processing common user facility at Nkrankwata in the Doma West District, Mr. Otribefi said the 1D, 1F policy is working and urged farmers to take advantage of it to add value to their produce. Precious Semevo has more.
The One District, One Factory Common User Facility is an agro-industrial factory set up by the Rural Enterprises Program under the Ministry of Trade and Industry. According to the National Director of REP, Kwesi Atah-Entwi, the facility is to enhance the value addition of primary agricultural commodities. At Nkrankwanta in the Doma West District of the Bono region, a 7 million cedis rice processing CUF with state-of-the-art equipment capable of producing 1.5 to 2.8 tons of processed rice per hour is in operation. Yawadu Poku is the facility manager.
Bono does about 4,000 a year, and this factory is doing about 14,000 a year. Yeah. So it means there's a gap, about two times the gap. So we'll be buying from all over the place, not only Bono. But we will encourage the Bono farmers to go into rice farming and expand. Because we are bringing development partners here who are going to help them to expand their farms so that we will not go too far looking for rice. The rice you see here, we brought from the northern region because we are now about to harvest the rice in the Bono region. But we needed a factory to start working for all to see. We want to do 3 shifts a day of 8 hours per shift. So we're going to employ more and also employ more on the farm.
Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry Michael Otribefi commissioned the factory and said they are focused on reducing the burden of farmers through government initiatives, despite some negative 1D, 1F commentaries.
It has come to reduce the burden of farmers and also to give them comfort. Now they have easy access to a rice mill. They can bring their rice here to be milled, and they are going to get a lot from their labor. And it's a good deal for us as a ministry, because our focus is to make sure that all traders and farmers who even deal in the business of trading are happy. And when they are happy, we are also happy. Government in general is also happy. So it's a very good venture. As a matter of fact, the 1D, 1F projects are doing so well. And it will interest you to note that we are doing a lot, but some saboteurs are just saying bad things about it.
After inaugurating a 9-man board of directors for the factory, he called for support to sustain the facility.
The ministry has a responsibility, the district assembly and the people, the inhabitants, the farmers. They have to make sure that this facility stands the test of time. We should not come here next year and see it deteriorating. We should see it always doing well. I mean, people buying from this facility, that's what we expect them to do. So everybody must come on board for us to develop this project and make it the big venture in the system.
The minister also commissioned Doma Hinkro Technology Solution Center to provide the right technology to enterprises, spare parts production, and technical training. Precious Semevo, Joy Business, Doma.
Thanks so much for watching Prime Business with me, Pius Kojo Baka. You can always get business stories when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Do have a lovely weekend. Bye-bye.